Okay guys, welcome back. Right now I am located somewhere in Amar space. My goal for today would be to find and run the Mul-Zatah Monastery. That is a level 4 dead space, and it should be a bit more difficult than the Fee Outpost. You will see what I'm talking about when I open up the browser to show you the walkthrough. It's nice to have a second home, especially when your first home in Serpentis is all looted. We didn't have any combat sites in our home system in a while, so that's why we are now in Blood Raider space. Now this Ortus is still built in a very similar way as before. I kinda like how it looks. I enhanced the range and I added some combat probes so that I can go and explore solo. It worked really well so far. The only thing that I have to do right now is I need to go and buy some missiles. My missiles are running low. I had about like 3 or 5,000 missiles of each damage type, but I guess that is slowly running low because I am using this ship quite often. So, in a moment I'll open up the browser and let's take a look at what the EVE wiki will tell us about the Mul-Zatah Monastery. So this is a combat site that can be scanned down with probes and can be found in high and low security space in the Amar regions. Alternatively, it can be received as an escalation from Blood Refuge. The site is behind an acceleration gate. Bella cruiser hulls and below can access it. Strategic T3 cruisers cannot enter the site. This site is a dead 4 out of 10 combat site due to heavy noting. A kiting ship or a ship that requires no cap to operate is highly recommended. Okay, I have a kite, so I should be good. First room, 2 Century Blood Light missile batteries, 5 Century Blood Heavy missile battery, 4 Century Blood Point defense battery, 2 Century guns, Tower Century Blood Raider 1, 4 cruisers, Mul-Zatah Knight, Corpum Arc Reaver or Arc Engraver, 2 cruiser Mul-Zatah Guardian, and 1 overseer cruiser Mul-Zatah Gatekeeper. Okay, well, that looks like a solid first room. Now, destroying all enemies unlocks the acceleration gate. Okay. Warning! Long-range weaponry that reaches out to around 60 kilometers is highly recommended. 6 Aegis towers effectively nullify ship's velocity to almost nothing. If all ships and sentries are in range, incoming DPS can easily exceed 500 DPS, enough to shred a battlecruiser to pieces within a minute. Well, that's very confronting, isn't it? Because I have no tank, basically, but I should be good. I have range. We have range. We should be good. And here you can take a look at the different groups. Now, the second room is, as you can see, it looks menacing. It looks like it's a bit more serious, and it kinda is. Although you will be warped far away from them, so you're not going to be at 0, or you will not be within the range of all of these sentry turrets. The range on the sentry turrets is about 40 kilometers, and the webs will start to take an effect if you are within 22 kilometers from the stasis towers. Now, my recommendation here would be to go and yeet the stasis towers first, although first you have to clear the cruisers, the frigates, the other ships that spawn, although it doesn't really feel that difficult, as you will see in a moment when we start to run the site. It just looks scary on paper. And you can get a Ashimo blueprint from this, which is lovely. I love the Ashimo, and if I get a blueprint for it, well, profit in the end. And the loot is also really solid. Here you can take a look at the possible drops. Overall, it looks nice. It looks to be quite rewarding, and I really hope that the game does reward us. Overall, the Blood Raider combat sites can drop some nice stuff. With a little bit of luck, up to 500 million, perhaps 750 million, in some cases up to 1 billion. That's at least the current estimate on on the loot. And you have the blitz option, destroy all enemies in the first room and then be able to tank, avoid enough damage in the second room to destroy the inner sanctum. It goes down pretty quickly under fire. The main structure in the end is quite easy to kill, and if you have other players in system, I would actually recommend that you go kill that first, and then if someone tries to steal your loot, kill them. That's why I'm going to start having a long range disruptor on my Ortus, so that I can point players who try to steal my loot, so that I can kill them. That's one of the ways how you can deal with that scenario. Okay, well, we're going to the DeadSpace site. We are in LowSec, by the way, and LowSec in this game is quite dangerous. It's nothing like the LowSec in Eve Echoes. Over here you can get killed on the gate. The sentry guns do about 300 DPS, and that seems low. It is low, and it's very easy to tank that or to speed tank them, so be very careful if you enter LowSec. The directional scanner is your friend here. Now, you cannot be jumped by a strategic cruiser, so that's good, and we can deal with most tier 2 ships, we can deal with most cruisers, and we can deal with most frigates, so we are mostly safe, unless a fleet comes to us. That's where things get problematic, but we can easily warp away because we have the D-scan that is going to be active, and we pay a close eye on the local, so we should be pretty good. So the first wave, I am going to focus on the sentry turrets. Now, bloodliners have a hole on EM, although these sentry turrets have the highest resistance on EM, at least on armor. On hull it drops, so it might be a bit tricky to find the right damage type, but again, EM or thermal against blood raiders will do quite well. Against the turrets, that is perhaps you will notice the extra EM resistance that they have, but the other ships will go down fairly quickly. And you don't have to kill the turrets in order to go through the gate. It is enough to actually just kill the ships. You can warp through the gate if you leave the turrets alive. So if you want to save time, you can kill all ships and then skip the turrets and just go straight to the second room. Now, since I will show you the complete walkthrough here, I'll just go and, well, we will just go and kill everything. That's basically the plan. The bounty is nice. The bounty is about 2 million or a bit above 2 million. If my memory serves me well, we got about 5 million each. My apologies, 2.5 million each, because we were in a fleet and the bounty is split evenly. Now, as the wiki has mentioned, the site is recommended to be done with a long-range ship or a ship that doesn't require capacitor. Now, the Ortus is a pretty good choice, pretty valid choice, because the Ortus has good range and it does fall under the kite category. Now, this ship is kinda capacitor dependent, although I have the ancillary large shield booster, which uses capacitor batteries to boost shield. It has 9 batteries loaded in, which is, you know, pretty good. And once the batteries run out, you can use the ancillary shield booster with your capacitor. But this ship isn't that much capacitor dependent as some of the other builds. I tried to avoid the capacitor usage as much as possible because it's the Ortus, and it's no secret that the Ortus has a bad capacitor by default. Now, the Ashmu, yeah, that would be a very fun to fly ship. The Ashmu is going to be one of my favorite ships in the game, and again, I did mention this before, but the Ashmu in this game is actually pretty solid, much better than the Ashmu in Eve Echoes right now, because, you know, the Ashimu in this game can actually do a 1v1 easily. Meanwhile, the Ashimu in Eve Echoes can't do that anymore because of the stabs. In this game, there's almost no stabs. No one is using them. Okay, so let me approach the last couple towers. Now, my build here is focused on tank because I am in LowSec, and this is a semi PvP build, although not entirely a PvP build. It can have some nasty DPS, it has nasty DPS, but I am missing the Disruptor or the Scrambler in order for it to be a PvP build. But I think my friend has one, so we should be good if someone decides to tackle, or well, if someone jumps in, we can easily engage them. Again, tier 3 cruisers can't enter and battleships can't enter. The maximum ship that can enter is a battlecruiser, and I think we have enough firepower to take down a battlecruiser. Although, if I were to be honest, I don't think that anyone will jump in if they see an Ortus or Vexor on the scanner. And if someone decides to come in, they are PvE built and they are going to run the site. So that's also one factor to include. If we see combat probes, we can warp out. Although I think the combat probes, if we get probed, the warp will throw the pilots on the gate. Although I'm fairly sure that there's a chance that they might have a direct warp, but I'm not really sure. Perhaps they changed something. In any case, let's go in the second room. Now, in the field post, you can't really enter without a key, so the field post might be more safer in LowSec if you get the field post in LowSec, of course. So this site is a little bit different. So we have landed, and as you can see, this is the layout of the ships. Now, first we are focusing on the turrets, although I should be focusing on the Stasis Tower. I use thermal missiles because at the current moment I didn't really have the EM missiles, and I don't have range. This is why I like to use that sensor booster. It helps a lot in PvE, but since I am in LowSec, I prefer to have more tank, just in case something unexpectedly happens. Now, I did mention before that I didn't really like how the capacitor performs on the Ortus, and this build, the PvP build that I have in mind for this ship, is basically made for hit and run, basically warp in, shoot targets and warp out. It's not meant for a long duration combat, so I'll perhaps modify this ship just so that I have a better capacitor for PvE. Again, I don't really fly the ship for PvP because, at least right now, because it's quite expensive and it is one of the ships that I use to make ISK. So far it's going pretty well. We are focusing down on the turrets. There's a lot of turrets in this site. Now, when you land, when you go in, don't stay at the warp in, always move, although it is quite difficult to get jumped if you know what you're doing, because it's, again, fairly easy to see who is on the scanner. The directional scanner helps a lot in that case. But so far the local is clear. Those cruisers are getting close. Now again, it did look quite scary on paper when you look at the wiki, and especially that warning sign might scare some players, and I can see why. If you get close to the site, then it can actually get pretty dangerous, but if you maintain range, then it's not going to be a problem. And I believe that you can speed tank it as well, but again, those 6 webs can be quite problematic. So this DeadSpace site is not really that good if you are using a close range build. And I can see why the wiki is recommending a 60+ kilometer kiting ship. I really find missiles in EVE Online really good. I mean, the missiles in EVE Echoes have been buffed, and there are some ships. I mean, I fly the Ortos in EVE Echoes. It's a very fun ship, very good ship. Although the missiles in this game just feel, I don't know, they feel a little bit different. I think it's because you have the different ammo types and you have the different damage types that you can choose. Basically, you can focus down on one damage type, and I feel like the whole ammunition part makes this game a bit more fun. In EVE Echoes, there's basically no ammo, and basically you have just the weapon and missiles. You can technically have ammo with the implants, but it's not the same. It doesn't feel the same at all, honestly. The missiles in this game seem to be something, never mind, something in the background just caught my attention for a moment, and I forgot what I was about to say. In any case, locals still clear. Those ships are slowly approaching us. The run boats are good as well. A Gila can clear this quite easily, although the problem with the Gila is they will start killing your drones, so you have to do a lot of micromanagement in order to keep those drones alive. You have to remember that drones are a target for the NPC ships in this game. I think they'll add that in EVE Echoes as well, and I can see the salt just pouring in when that happens. You can just see all those that 500 million ISK drones in that game. The faction drones in that game are ridiculously expensive. I haven't really paid much attention to how much drones cost in this game. I don't really use them. I use the cheapest ones because, well, let's say I don't fly drone boats right now, and my drones are usually there to take aggro in some instances, so they have to be cheap. Although if you have a drone boat, then having nice drones is a good idea. Now I'm too much used to flying the Ortos with the sensor booster with good range, so I keep losing lock here. 57 kilometers is good, but I try to keep the 60 kilometer recommended range. However, I'm good until 40 kilometers. At 40, the sentry turrets start to hit you. Now we're quite far away, so we should be good. I can probably easily tank those cruisers. it's just a little bit of ships left, and then we have to start clearing out those sentry towers. They're nicely placed around the inner sanctum. After all, we're talking about blood raiders, and they have some very good defenses over here. Not surprising, honestly. For solo, I recommend that you pick a lot of ammo, a lot of missiles, a lot of charges if you're using turrets or railguns. Or lasers. Actually, lasers might be a good idea as well. Long range lasers would probably do a very good job here as well. Okay, we are going to focus on that group over there that is broadcasted. Although it doesn't really matter where you start. Usually if I were solo, I would go with the nearest group and then just start with the nearest group. We have one neutral and local. Let's open up a scanner. So far nothing, no probes. They can't find the site without combat probes or without the normal probes. So far clear. Oh, of course it's clear. Let me just enhance the range. Oh, it's only a heron. Okay, we're good. We are safe. Okay, back to the turrets. If a heron jumps in, well, that heron has a death wish, and of course they have jumped out. Oh, okay, good. Seems clear. Let's keep on rolling. "56-kilometer range." And let's go towards the first group. Now I have about 8,000 in shield. I have a lot of shield on this ship because of the large extender. So I believe I can take some hits from the sentry turrets. Although of course I probably can tank 500 DPS, but who knows? Probably can tank that for a while until the capacitor runs out. This thing works really like the Eve Echoes version of the Ortrus. It lives until the capacitor runs out. When the capacitor runs out, well, then you have to warp out. We are mowing down the sentry turrets, starting with this group, and then we will proceed to the other group. As you can see, so far a very chill run. Was very quiet over here. No issues, no one to interfere. At least at the moment, that is. That group is the next target. But I have to reload. The most annoying part, and I said this probably 10,000 times by now, the most annoying part about the light missiles is the fact that they have a ridiculously long reload, 35 seconds to be precise. And that reload is one big drawback. I haven't checked the rigs if there is any rig that can actually reduce the reload time. I think there is, might be, but I haven't checked that out, mostly because I was busy with I didn't even have time to do that, actually, to be honest with you. The one time basically the only time where I can actually play the game is in vampire hours, as we like to call them. Very late at night, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., sometimes 5 a.m. That's when we can run the sites undisturbed without having everyone steal everything. And I can say that there is a lot of players running the combat sites with a lot of different ships. I almost killed a Vedmak yesterday. Guy tried to steal my loot. Well, yeah, was my loot, but I didn't have the long range disruptor to hold it, unfortunately. I was so mad that I forgot to add that one not Scrammer, but the long range disruptor. That would be a dead ship, but next time I'll probably have the right module for the situation. There is still plenty of turrets left, but we are clearing them pretty quickly. The most time consuming part is probably going to be this one, where we have to clear the sentry turrets, although they have some good bounty, so I'm not really complaining about that. A good bounty is always helpful. I think next time when I return I will be flying the Ashmu. Although for the Ashmu I have to skill the medium laser skills, unless I want to fly the Ashmu with like missiles or something, and that would be pretty cursed. And you know me, I don't like cursed ships. So if I want to fly the Ashmu, I have to do some skilling, and since I am an alpha clone, it might be a bit tricky. But I'm not really worried too much, because I'm fairly sure that I know what I'm doing, for now at least. But we will find out. Okay, couple more turrets, couple more sentries left. Again, we could probably go and rush the base now and loot and warp out, but since I do the walkthrough, I just want to show you how long it would take to clear this. Could probably be faster if I use different missiles. When I say different missiles, EM missiles, or perhaps if I go switch to the heavy missiles, then I would be doing, I think I'd be doing more damage because of the shorter reload, 3 times shorter reload actually, and because the heavy missiles still have good application. They have higher alpha damage, and most of the ships here are cruisers, so heavy missiles with the Ortus would probably be working really well. And the last 3 turrets left, and then fingers crossed for good loot. Although I'll be honest with you, the loot fairy for some reason doesn't like us anymore. Well, the loot fairy rarely liked us, although, you know, sometimes he did reward us with some good stuff. Why it stopped doing that? Well, I have no idea. Okay, and now let's blow up the inner sanctum and hopefully we get some good loot. I hope that we get some good loot. At least I hope. I can hope. I think. As you can see, it's fairly easy to blow up the structure. I don't think that it has any resistance on anything. So any weapon type, any damage type that you have should be enough to blow it up. And it has been destroyed. Okay, nice. Well, it was a very fun site. Also very fun to fly in LowSec, and yeah, it dropped nothing. Okay, Loot Fairy said no again. Oh well, was still a pretty fun site to run, honestly. Yeah, that's a very unlucky loot drop, unfortunately. But in the end, it was still a fun run. Well, with that being said, I hope that you guys have enjoyed. It was a very fun run, honestly, a very fun run. And if you like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and I'll see you next time.